really great to have this opportunity to present to the Metals Investor Forum and to be a part of your session today, and we certainly appreciate your support. I will be making some forward-looking statements. Genesis is a gold exploration company, and we're focused on our high-grade gold Chevrier project in the Chibougamau camp. I will be covering all these things as we go through the presentation. We're part of the Discovery Group, which is an alliance of publicly listed exploration and mining companies based here in Vancouver. And you can see the names of most of the group companies here on this slide. And the map shows their location of geographical focus areas. I'll just point out that the Great Bear Resources is part of this group, as is Bluestone Resources and Valour Metals, which is going to be following on later in the session. We have a great team behind Genesis Metals, a lot of technical depth, a lot of experience in making significant discoveries and monetizing those for shareholders. We've also got a lot of background in running public companies, administration, legal, accounting, and promotion. And I don't have time to go through everybody here, but if you look down through the list, you'll see a lot of people here that are very well known in the industry, both on the advisor, technical team, management, and board of directors. Genesis has got just over 50 million shares outstanding subsequent to the $3 million financing that we just completed. We've got approximately 50% of our shares are held by management, close associates, and a group of institutional investors, which include Eric Sprott, Commodity Capital, Gold 2000, and Delbrook Capital. We've got now approximately $5 million in the bank, and so we're well funded to carry out our exploration programs that we have planned. We're focused in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt, and there's a reason for that. It's one of the best jurisdictions for exploration in the world. There's over 170 million ounces have been produced historically over the last century from the Abitibi Greenstone Belt, and if you cast your eyes over this map, you'll see the names of some of the most prolific and well-known mining camps in Canadian history represented here. We have one project called October Gold, which is down to the southwest part of the belt in the Swayze area in the Ontario side. And then our flagship focus project is the Chevrier Gold project, which is up here in the Chibougamau camp. We've got a current mineral resource on the project right now, which totals almost 400,000 ounces of gold, averaging 1.45 grams in the indicated category, and an inferred resource of almost 300,000 ounces of 1.33 grams. We believe, through the work we've been doing, that there's potential to expand the tonnage of that resource as well as the grade by focusing on higher grade portions of the deposit with future drilling. And we also believe that there's potential for making new discoveries on the project. We cover a greater than 15-kilometer extent of the Fan Camp Deformation Zone, which is the main gold-related structure in this part of the world. Chevrier has great infrastructure and access. We've got paved highways shown here in yellow on this map to the east and north of the property, and a great network of forestry roads providing access throughout most areas of the property. It's a very large property, covers more than 290 square kilometers. It's got power line, rail line going through the property, as well as a regional airport just to the north of the property. The mining community of Chibougamau is up to the north on this highway, and we base our operations out of Chapay, which is just off to the west of the property here. And this area obviously has been resource dependent, and so there's great support for resource development and mining activity in this area. Moving on to a property land package map, similar to the last one, our property outlined here. We've got 3 known deposits on the Chevrier property, which include the South Zone, which does not have a current mineral resource. It's got a similar size footprint to the Chevrier Main Zone, which is just a little bit further to the northeast along this Fan Camp trend. And it needs further drilling in order to establish a current mineral resource on the South Zone. and the east zone, which is about 9 kilometers along the Fan Camp Trend in the northeastern part of the property. Regionally, we've got the Monster Lake project to the southwest of Chevrier, has a current mineral resource of 433,000 ounces of 12 grams per ton, and that's a joint venture operated by IAM Gold and a junior company called Toma Gold. Down to the south of Chevrier, there's several known deposits. Philibert, which is got a historical resource on it and has been owned by SOQUEM, the Quebec government company. Joe Mann is a past producer. It produced 1.2 million ounces at 8 grams per ton. And notably, the most recent discovery in the area is Nelligan, down to the south here. They announced a maiden mineral resource in late 2019 of 3 million ounces in a pit-constrained resource averaging 1 gram per ton gold. That's a joint venture between IAM Gold with 75% of the project and Vanstar Mining. Collectively, in this whole Chibougamau-Chapais mining district, there's been almost 7 million ounces of gold produced over the last century, and there's a lot of exploration activity going on right now. So we believe that there's a lot of potential for making new discoveries in this area. This is a summary of the current mineral resources on the property. As I said, this was put out early 2019. As you can see, they are broken down into open pit category and an underground category. Approximately 53% of the resources report to an open pit. And if you look at the parameters that were used in early 2019, down at the bottom of the slide here, you can see that $1,400 gold was used to constrain the pit shell for the resource. For the purposes of the mineral resource, the deposit was modeled as 5 parallel steeply dipping zones of mineralization over a 1.2 kilometer strike length and 200 meter width. And when you look down at the plan map, which we show on the right-hand side of the block model that was used, you can see in the hotter and blue colors that there's a number of areas within the deposit which have higher than average grade. And that's one of the things that we're focusing on with our ongoing modeling and exploration work on the deposit area. And this is also represented on this longitudinal section through one of the zones. And you can see these hotter color areas, which represent higher grades, are often just populated by 1, sometimes 2 drill holes. They have not been drilled to the extent that you would need to do to define high-grade chutes or domains within the resource, both within the near surface area and following down below into the underground area. In fact, most of the drill holes in the deposit are within the upper 150 meters. And so that's one thing that we've recognized as an opportunity for the Chevrier main zone deposit. It's a typical shear zone hosted, structurally controlled gold system. The mineralization occurs in these quartz veins like you see here on the photograph on the left-hand side of the slide, associated with highly strained areas with a lot of sericite alteration. So very typical. These types of deposits often have great depth continuity in this environment, and that's certainly something we're focused on. I've just got on the right-hand side of the slide here pre-2020 drill intercepts ranked by grade times thickness. And so this again represents that there is a lot of high-grade intercepts within the deposit that have not been well defined with closer space drilling. And so that's one of the aspects that we've undertaken this year with our exploration activities. We've completed a phase 1 2,500 meter drill program in the first part of the year, and comprised 9 drill holes, and 6 of those hit high-grade gold mineralization. And they're plotted on this cross-section for the most part. 7 of the 9 holes were in the southwestern part of the deposit, down in this area here. And we've intersected high-grade gold ranging from about 60, 70 meters below surface down to below 200 meters below surface and below the bottom of the pit shell from the 2019 mineral resource estimate. So you can just see some of the grades here. 9 grams over 3.65 meters, 9.6 grams over 2.3 meters, 5 grams over almost 4 meters. So a lot of good drill intercepts from the early 2,500 meter drill program. Back up for a second here. The next slide are two longitudinal sections looking at this from the right-hand side, or looking from the south east to the northwest. And you can see, looking at these in longitudinal section, I've got the pierce points for greater than 30 grade times thickness colored in the magenta color, that there's a lot of space in here, and they're actually fairly poorly defined, even in the near surface area, particularly on the right-hand side one. But as you go to depth on these higher grade areas, there's very little drilling to define these things. And so this is something that we're focusing on with our ongoing exploration activity. And we think it's a real opportunity to bring the grade of the deposit up and add to the ounces. The other prong of our approach on Chevrier in 2020 is following up on the work that was carried out in 2019 to evaluate other targets outside of the currently known mineral resources. A large property-wide glacial till survey was carried out in 2019. You can see all the locations are shown in this map here in the lower right-hand side of the slide as blue dots. More than 350 samples were collected, and out of that came 6 high-priority targets, which are shown on the main map here, circled in red. The highest priority target, based on gold grain counts and the morphology of the gold grain populations and standardized 10 kilogram sample size, came from this target number 1 and target number 2 area, which is immediately along strike from the east zone deposit in an area with very limited outcrop. So that's one area that we've gone back into now and carried out some surface reconnaissance work, and we've tightened up the grid with collecting more till samples and soil samples to try to pinpoint an area to carry out some trenching or and eventually drilling activity. Target number 3 here is along the Fan Camp trend between the main zone and the east zone, which I've mentioned before is about 9 kilometers distance in between these two areas. It sits immediately to the south of an area that we've identified a number of high-grade surface samples from our prospecting activity, ranging up to almost 19 grams per ton gold. We've gone back into that area already starting last month and carried out an extensive surface sampling and channel sampling program, and so those results are being awaited right now. And we've also carried out a more detailed till and soil grid in this area, as well as up on target number 4, 5, and 6. So we've got a lot of surface sample results that are we're waiting on from the lab as we speak. So just to wrap up on Chevrier, I'll just go back and summarize the activities over the last couple of years and where we're at today. In 2017, the company carried out a 10,000 meter drill program on the property, testing targets in the main zone, new targets, and all the prospecting work that I referred to. 2018, more work and compiling all the work from the 2017 drill program, which culminated in a resource update in early 2019. Also in 2019, a technical review of all the work on the property was carried out, and the till survey that I referred to. In early 2019, we focused on modeling the high-grade domains within the deposit and completed the 2,500 meter drill program that I discussed. We're also in the planning stages for a follow-on phase 2 5,500 meter drill program that we're fully funded for, and we plan to start later this month. We'll have more details coming out on that as we finalize the start date, and we're continuing on with our surface work to follow up, refine, and prioritize regional targets outside of the known deposit areas. So that's our flagship project. I'll just say a couple of words about our other project, October Gold, which is located in Ontario, as I said, in the Swayze Belt, along the southwestern projection of the Cadillac-Larder Lake Break, in a structure in the locally called the Redoubt Deformation Zone. October Gold is a large property as well. We have rights to 100% of the property, and it's located equidistant between Newmont's Borden Lake deposit, which went into commercial production late last year and has a resource of over 4 million ounces, and the Cote Lake deposit of IAMGOLD and Sumitomo, who recently just made a construction decision. It's got a 7.3 million ounce proven and probable reserve. So we're obviously in a good neighborhood here. There's been limited work done on the property to date, although there is a couple of high-grade gold samples that have been collected in the eastern part of the property, and there's been some initial geochemical screening, which has identified several target areas. Again, 200 square kilometer property, 100% Genesis in a great address. So we're going to be advancing this project over the coming months and into next year, and we'll be putting out news on that as we go forward. So just to wrap up, we've got a great management team and technical team behind the company with a track record of success and adding value to public companies. We're focused in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt, one of the best places for exploration that exists. The project has great infrastructure, supportive local community, and low exploration costs. We've got a large property, more than 290 square kilometers. We believe there's a unrecognized high-grade component to the current mineral resources that we're focused on with one aspect of our exploration. And we're also exploring for new discoveries on the large and prospective land package. We're fully funded for all of our work in 2020. If you have any questions, feel free to contact the company at any time. And thank you again for your attention.